What is up everyone, my name is Darkpast and welcome back to another video of Crossout, and in today's episode I'm going to go quickly through the bland balance changes and give you my thoughts and feedback about it. And also another interesting thing to note is that we are getting a Relic part crafting in a discount, so it's going to be a lot cheaper to craft Relic parts, which is going to be really nice for people who always wanted to get some Relics already, and you can craft them for a cheaper price. So let's say probably the uranium is going to be reduced by like, I don't know, 100 or 200. So we'll see about that, but who knows. So the price is going to drop maybe momentarily, or it's going to be the same. So I don't know how much it's going to shift. All right, let's go to the balance changes and I'll give you my feedback. All right, so there is going to be some interesting changes coming to Crossout. And for example, the first thing is the tonnage calculation mechanics. Now the movement parts that do not make contact with the ground will have no resistance to damage, in addition to disabling tonnage and perks. So basically, before we got this kind of thing, if you have, let's say, Bigfoot and you put on your build like, let's say, cambered, they don't work anymore. Like, camber is not going to give you any tonnage because it's not touching the ground. But now if you have anything that's like floating, pretty much not touching the ground, for example, it's going to make the tracks a little weaker, but there's going to be some compensation to that, so it's kind of nice. So also robotic legs, acceleration upon activating boosters significantly decreases. Comment: the acceleration of the robotic legs was too high before the change. Now more boosters will be required to reach similar effects. Okay, that's kind of fair, because those Tengu booster mechanical mechs were just like too much to handle, and they just disintegrate everything that's in their path. They either used like lances or tritons and stuff like that, so it's going to be a nice change a little bit. So it makes them use more energy points and therefore should make them a little bit weaker in a way, but I don't know, we'll see about that. So machine guns are getting huge changes again. Well, actually not really huge, but every machine gun is getting a durability increase, mass reduction, ballistics disabled. I don't know exactly what ballistics disabled mean. Is it like something to do with hit scan or something to do with the projectiles, or I don't know. If somebody knows what it means, please comment down below, let me know, because I don't really get that what it's going to be. But ballistics is going to be disabled, and the effect of movement speed on spread reduced by 2 times, increase in spread after firing reduced by 40%, increase in spread when turning the weapon reduced by 36%. It's going to be basically the same for every single machine gun, and some of them will have like a difference when it's coming to perks as well, and everything itself looks to be pretty much the same, doesn't really change too much. But damage increase for Cynos, Spectre, damage increased by 13% and 15%, which is nice. Aspect damage increased. Punisher is getting perk change as well, so they also say that damage increased by 35%, so it's gonna get a initial damage buff. Perk bonus reduced from 100 to 50%, so you're still gonna get like basically kinda, you know, like 85% damage buff still, so you won't lose too much in that way. But yeah, so it's not even that bad. And number of hits required 30 to 25, so it's actually way nicer buff, because previously it was just 40, then they reduced it to 30, now they reduce it to 25, so make the Punisher more viable and better to use. Hopefully we're gonna see more Punishers in Battlefield, because I would love to see them return. They are really fun weapons to use, and I'm gonna try them out, like all the machine guns, probably on the test server on Friday, so I can give you my insight about it, like how it works, so you guys can also see what's going on. And also with Defenders, Guardians, Protectors, Vindicators, Tacklers, they're all getting also like some perk resistance bonuses, and so it's actually quite nice, and I do like that. And also the Tackler perk resistance 250%, that's quite a bit, so that's actually quite nice. And durability is also increased, and the mass increase is also, that's fine. I mean, they're getting tankier, I like that, so almost like 100 durability, which is a lot. Piercer, Fidget, and also Imp, cooling time reduced by 25%, so it makes them more viable, and it's kind of nice. I like that. Equalizes Arbiters, Gungnir, Notung, there's different things coming again. So with miniguns, maximum spread reduced by 25%, so it's going to be more accurate. Gungnir, parts freezing speed increased by 2 times, same with here. And they also say that all of the above machine guns and miniguns prove to have low efficiency in battles. We decided to revise a number of their key parameters in order to improve their relevance. So it's actually a nice change. Shotguns also getting some changes, like Spitfire, Leech, Rupture. These are the basically limited angle more shotguns, and they will get the durability and mass increase. Nice little changes, but that's alright. Flamethrowers. Okay, listen up. All of the flamethrowers are getting a perk. So, Remedy. As the weapon overheats, its damage protection increases up to 50%. So it's gonna have 50% resistance to all damage types when it's overheated. So you can actually utilize it somehow if you want to use it build well. You can probably also mount a Avatar or Omamori, so you can get like extra resistance, which is nice. And I do like that. And you can also maybe pair it up with some of the cabins that actually also give you resistance. So those things are not coming off so easily, right? And Draco, up and colliding with an enemy. Draco's damage increases up to 35% for 6 seconds. The bonus depends on the force of impact and distributed equally among all mounted Dracos. This is a nice change. Dracos already had those kind of spikes at the front, so you can actually utilize them now and actually deal more damage when you hit an enemy. So it's similar like for the Gremlin perk, which is also nice. I don't mind that. Firebug also. If the armored car moves at speed 70 kilometers or higher, the weapon's damage increased by 30%. Comment on flamethrowers. This class of weapon had no perk. It's time to fix that, and at the time it increases their efficiency. That's nice to have. And also argument and nail guns are also getting a buff. So Summoners, damage increased by 30%. Really nice thing. Spread increased during charging, reduced by 59%. Penetration ability reduced from 70 to 50%. Rotation speed is no longer dependent on charge level and is always maximum. Projectile speed now increases by 75% as the weapon charges. And arguments, the number of projectiles in charge shot increased from 4 to 6, which is nice. Damage reduced by 5%. Reload time reduced from 0.8 to 0.5 seconds. Perk reload time bonus reduced from 30% to 10%. Perk charge time bonus reduced from 5 to 3%, but stacked 6 times instead of 4. Spread now matches the same basic of Summoner. Penetration ability, same. It basically looks more that they are actually nerfing argument, but increasing the shots. They are still quite unpopular and weak weapons. Other parts, now you can actually have 2 radios, which is actually nice, and the durability is increased from 13 to 42, so they can actually survive a little bit longer. Clarion Toe also has a very interesting change. The rocket's durability increased from 30 to 35, added 75% resistance to bullet damage to the rocket. Okay, that's actually quite nice that it now has a resistance on the projectile itself, which is kind of cool. Flute, now damage increased by 25% instead of 14, but stacks 3 times instead of 5. And it also a little bit higher than the previous perk, so it's going to have a little higher damage buff. Akari, nice change as well. Projectile now deals 125 points of damage on impact and has 100% penetration ability. Projectile blast damage increased by 50% and periodic damage increased from 1.2% to 1.5. Unpopular weapon, adding damage to the projectile itself will allow Akari to not only reduce the durability of structural parts but also destroy parts upon hit, which is nice because most cases when I was playing Leviathan Wars, I was using Typhoon Akari combo, and most of the time my Typhoon got shot off and I still had Akari. I was pretty much useless, but now if I'm able to deal at least 125 points of damage, I'm happy. I can still like do something. Aurora, damage increased by 30%. Ooh, that's kind of dirty. That's kind of dirty. Low efficiency. I mean, if you have 3 of them with Photon, at least had, you did massive damage and you took down parts like it was nothing, but this is going to make it even crazier. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm kind of curious to test it out. Yokai. Damage increased by 100%. Perk no longer increases damage. Blast radius increased by 39. Damn. Perk blast radius bonus reduced from 150 to 80%. The changes will make the perk optional and allow yokai to be used without it. Now, direct fire at the enemy will also be effective. Blast radius and damage with the perk remain unchanged. So okay, to make it a little bit easier to use so you don't always need to miss the shots, you can just now also, you know, just hit the enemy. That's actually really nice. And also crickets getting buffed. Energy consumption reduced from 10 to 9. That's the most exciting thing. And durability is increased by 60, which is nice. Power score reduction also slightly, but it's still really nice. And Doom is getting nerfed because it has extremely high one-shot kill rate due to high single-shot damage. The changes significantly reduce damage per shot, but at the same time increases the rate of fire, thereby increasing gameplay comfort and damage per minute. So yeah, so damage with no charge reduced by 16%, damage with full charge reduced by 29%, charging time reduced from 4 to 2.5 seconds, reload time reduced from 5 to 3 seconds. So they basically are buffing it when it comes to reload and charge, but decreasing the damage to just keep it up basically. So it's kind of like mid, it's not really like buffer nerf, so it's basically just rebalancing the weapon a little bit. Raijin, charge time increased from 4 to 4.5 seconds and charge holding time reduced from 3 to 2.5 seconds. High efficiency of the weapon. After the change, it should be somewhat easier to play against Raijin. That's actually nice. I like it. Inferno. Maximum speed of charging the perk, enemy at distance of 100 meters increased by 2 times. Maximum speed of charging the perk, enemy close to the player increased by 1.5 times. Parts attached to the cabin no longer heat up during perk activation. Accumulated perk charge is no longer reset if there are no enemies nearby. It's actually really nice. I like that one. So Savior, Bastion, Steppy Spider are getting also changes. So Savior, some of the welding points moved from the sides to the roof of the cabin. It's very nice. I like that. Bastion, the blade at the front of the cabin now has 50% resistance to energy damage. That's amazing to hear. I love Bastion, and this is going to make the cabin way more versatile, and I like that. Steppy, remove the interaction of the perk with precision rocket launchers, Nest, and Trombone. So yeah, basically this is now removed because Nest and Trombone is an extremely effective way to basically destroy enemies, but now you can still use it, but you have to keep distance to be able actually to do something. So yeah, Trombone, projectile speed increased by 20% and rocket turn radius reduced by 11%. Catalina, damage bonus reduced from 7 to 6% and initial damage penalty reduced from 15 to 13%. So it's actually really understandable because it is a meta cabin still in the most builds. And tank tracks, Goliaths and Sleipnirs, they have now this cool thing, added the ability to mirror the track in build mode. I love this thing because sometimes I struggle when I build tracks, you know. I get like 1 or 2 pins wrong and I'm looking like, wait a minute, why this build is asymmetrical? Then I have to look, the track, and then I try to align it, and it's kind of like you know, like it just like jumps from one pin to another and you just have to align it again. So it's like quite tedious, but all the tracks are getting durability increase, mass increase, Goliath, almost 2000 durability, that's crazy. Mass increased also to 2200. And the welding points to the inner surface, that's great. We can now actually use the perk of Goliath. I love this one. Thank you, Devs. Finally, we waited this change for like so long time. And Sleipnir, also power score reduced, power penalty reduced, added ability mirror to track, fair enough. And they also say that the power score of this track was a bit too high compared to other tracks, which is understandable. Me grinded durability increased. He's gonna be tankier, but also maximum perk protection bonus reduced from 200 to 125%, so that's a heavy nerf still. Augur damage increased from 20 to 30 points. That's actually nice as well. Maximum perk damage bonus reduced from 400 to 200%, so it's also a big damn nerf. Low efficiency on armor cars with mass of less than 20 tons, which are unable to fully utilize the perk. After the changes, the survivability of the Augur on armor cars with a mass of 20 tons or more will remain the same, and the damage will be lowered due to its excessiveness. Titan and steering version of it, perk charging time delay before the next charge, and reset time for uncharged perk reduced by 2 times. The perk now restores 10% durability instead of 20%. And they also say thanks to the new perk charging time, Titan will be able to restore some of its durability by passing by wreckage instead of stopping near it. At the same time, if Titan stays near the wreckage longer, it will restore as much durability as it would have restored before the change, which is actually quite nice. I like that kind of thing. And Big Ram, change the perk when moving at the speed of up to 35 kilometers. The leg's resistance to damage increased by 25%, which is also nice, giving them a little bit of survivability compared to other normal mechanical legs that we have, you know, spider legs. Also Shiver, cooling efficiency increased from 85 to 125%. I love that. And Waltz, and also some other weapons are getting nice changes as well. So durability increased from 298 to 352, mass increase just a tad bit, speed increase in relation to movement speed reduced by 33%, disable the spread increase when turning, that's also really nice. Assembler, remove turning slowdown while charging, also nice change. Scatty, ballistics disabled, maximum range reduced from 200 to 70 meters. Ooh, since the refrigerant now flies in a straight line, firing Scatty will become much easier. Scatty's long range was not used and became redundant due to the lack of ballistics. Yeah, that's understandable, you know, a long distance wasn't really that much used because it wasn't really that great, because it really struggled to hit something because of the low projectile speed. But 70 meters, that's not even that bad, actually. It's really nice. I like that still. And Vulture, drone lifetime increased from 22 to 30 seconds. Enemy detection distance increased from 35 to 50 meters. Really nice change. And enemy pursuit speed increased by 9%. I like that. So I can test them out again because that's a nice buff. Parser, number of pellets in a shot increased from 6 to 8. Also nice change. Slaughter, blast radius of the initial projectile when shooting without holding down the fire button increased by 30%. Perk maximum damage bonus increased from 21 to 30%. Nice buff. I like that. Slaughter is going to be a little bit more fun to play and probably stronger as well. Split. Amount of damage required to charge a perk increased by 12.5%. Perk damage bonus reduced from 15 to 10%. It is a high effective shotgun, still one of the strongest shotguns in the game, but hopefully this nerf is not going to kill the weapon because it's still really fun. You don't see the weapon too often, but it's still really good. Triton. Amount of damage required to charge the perk increased by 25%. Barrel tips blast radius reduced by 35%. Finally, Triton nerf. I was looking forward to it. Satori, maximum damage bonus reduced from 40% to 35%, and the time required to charge and reset the full perk bonus reduced in proportion of the reduction in damage. High efficiency of the perk, charging the perk by 35% and resetting it will take the same amount of time as was previously required for this value. Mars is getting buffed as well. Speed buff, mass increase a little bit, bonus to ally damage increased by 25%. And also damage boost radius increased from 50 to 70, which is really nice. Cohort, amazing change. It will give all types of cabins 30% of damage resistance. Now it is actually whole build, no longer cabin itself, and also increase the radius, which is really nice. Yokozuna mass increased, and it is not really popular cabin, but it is a nice cabin either way. Machinist, some welding points moved from the sides to the roof of the cabin. Similar changes to Savior. Oyabun, perk duration reduced from 6 to 4 seconds because it's a very effective engine. Jackie getting nerfed. Bonus reduced from 15 to 12%, and also blast damage reduced by 40%, which is a nice buff. But Devour added the effect of reload bonuses to the time between shots in a burst, which is also a nice little buff for Devour. Helicon also getting a nice little buff. Maximum perk bonuses are now achieved after the projectile travels 120 meters instead of 180. Durability increased from 422 to almost 500, making them tankier, and also mass is a little bit increased, and also Nemesis perk charge delay reduced from 1/2 seconds to 1 second, which is amazing. So these are the changes that are coming to planned balance changes. There's a lot of cool things that are coming, especially I like the changes with the machine guns. I hope they're gonna be viable again because they're kind of dead. The same thing is with also like with the big rams, making them more survivable, because I love those flags. I have like 8 of them, I think, fused for different fusions, and some rest of them is unfused. And also like to change the radio, great thing, I like that. Akari is a great change as well, I like that as well. Crickets, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And just like some other things probably I was like looking forward to. I mean, Bastion as well, that's like a great change. So pretty much those kind of things that are looking really nice, and I'm quite excited for them. I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me guys know what you guys thought about these upcoming balance changes, because I'm happy to hear your own thoughts about it. Anyways, I'll see you around. Peace.